Hey, no introduction. Let's get into it. So, there was a question on Facebook, and the question was, is it okay to whip your children? And my response was, no. No, it's not. Let's explain why. Let's talk. So, my biggest point was, look, I have oranges on my face and y'all wasn't gonna tell me. My biggest point was, so say you're a little girl, right? Say you're an 8-year-old little girl and you do something stupid and your mom or your dad whoops you or spanks you. And then they tell you, I do this because I love you. Or this hurts me more than it hurts you. Or, yeah, I love you. Every day they tell you I love you. They whip you Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. They are telling you, have a good day, I love you, like they didn't just whip you the day before, right? And then so in this 8-year-old mindset, you're thinking, okay, my mom or my dad loves me. They tell me they love me every day. My mom or my dad and my dad, they do things for me every day. They buy me food, they buy me clothes, they buy me toys, they buy me, this and that. They hang out with me, they hug me, they kiss me, they love me. But when I do something wrong, they whip me. And so this 8-year-old little girl grows up and turns into a 25-year-old woman. This 25-year-old woman finds a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And this boyfriend or girlfriend, this significant other, doesn't like what she did. So to teach her how to act better, he or she hits her. And she cries. And, she goes off to sleep that Tuesday night. And then that Wednesday morning, her significant other wakes up and tells her that they love her. Tells her that she's beautiful. Tells her that, I just want you to learn how to do better, how to be better. And so I hit you. And I'm sorry that I had to hit you, but I want you to learn. And so, even though in her mind, she may be thinking, this can't be right. This is what she was taught was okay, And then if she were to call her dad on the phone, if she were to call her mom on the phone, they would say, that's not love. They shouldn't be putting their hands on you. They shouldn't hit you. You need to get away from that situation. That's not love. And then now, so this 25-year-old goes back to this 8-year-old mindset subconsciously, and she's like, now wait a minute. Either you don't love me like you said you did, or they actually do love me. Because you did the same thing as a child and told me that you love me, and then they're doing the same thing. Now, I'm not saying every 8-year-old grows up and thinks this and then turns 25 and then they have the significant other that hits them. But how many times have you heard or seen a situation where a woman or a man says, I know that he or she hit me, but they love me. I know that he hits me, but he didn't mean it. He didn't want to hurt me. He just, he was upset. He was frustrated. He just, I did something wrong. How many times have you heard that in the movies, a story on social media? How many times have you heard that? He just wants me to do better. Your mom, your dad, they just want you to do better, right? So they whip you to teach you, to do better. So my stance on this post was, there are more ways to communicate with your child. A lot of the reason that parents whip their children, and I've pissed a few people off, a lot of reasons that parents whip their children is because they aren't patient enough to communicate with their child. They aren't patient enough to say, this is why what you did was wrong. This is this is the consequence behind it. X, Y, Z, A, B, C. There's a lot more lessons that come into communicating than I could just put in this video. But when your child does something stupid, when your child does something wrong, when your child does something that they've done over and over and over again, and you told them not to do it many, many times, then you want to bring out the belt because it's easier. You know that if you whoop them, they are going to not want to do that again, right? Or they're going to think twice before they do it again. Um, but what is that really teaching them? Is that really teaching them why they shouldn't do something? What the consequence is, other than getting hit? You know, what are you teaching your children? The whole point of being a parent is not to give them the basic human rights of life, feed them and clothe them. That's not the whole point. I mean, you're supposed to, you have to do that. But the point is to teach your children how to be effective and sustainable and, healthy adults with a healthy mindset. Often people think, I got whoopings when I was a kid. I got spankings when I was a kid, and I turned out just fine. You don't know what just fine is, because that's all you've ever experienced. That's all you've ever known. You don't know any other way to be. So, and like I said in the post, 99.9% of us had to heal from our childhoods. One way or another, from one thing or another, we had to heal from our childhoods. Not because in our mind, like, oh, I used to get whoopings, so now I'm heartbroken and I have to heal. But many times, there are just lessons that we needed to say, but we couldn't say, right? Because we were afraid of what our parents would say, what our parents would think. If we went to our parents and told them that we had this feeling or this emotion, and then, I was thinking about doing this or doing that, and then they would just kind of be like, don't do that, or you'd get in trouble for thinking it. And oftentimes you wouldn't, but in your mind, it's easier to just do than to say something about it, because they're going to yell at me anyway. I'm going to get in trouble anyway. I might as well do it. So kids go out and they do stupid things because they're bored. They're bad. It drives me out when people say that kids are bad. They do stupid stuff. But, even as a toddler, if you have kids, if you've been around kids, you'll see a toddler push their limits to the max. They're learning. They didn't wake up in the morning like, I'm just going to do this to piss my parents off. I'm going to do this because I know I can get away with it. They're learning what boundaries are, what limits are. They're learning how to be, and that is a teachable moment as a parent to teach your children, but kids grow. Who you are as a child is who you are as an adult. You just, you still have those things that are instilled in you and implemented in your mind. I'm not going to make this long because y'all know I'm long-winded, but, because I choose not to whoop my kids. I choose to teach them in other ways, and that was a lesson for me. I had to learn how to handle my emotions. I had to learn how to be patient with him myself, because if you keep doing the same thing over and over that I told you not to do, I'm gonna get irritated. I'm gonna get frustrated. I'm gonna pop you in your mouth. But that's because I'm irritated. I'm frustrated. And I want you to learn right now to stop doing that. Right now. And in the parent's mind, it's, I would rather whoop them now than have the world beat on them later. What? And then you have situations where people grow up after knowing that when I do wrong, I get hit. So when they grow up and they do wrong and then there's nobody to hit them, they're like, oh, I can continue to do what I want to do. I know so many people that got whoopings every other day of the week, and they still grew up to be adults that did stupid things. They still grew up to be people that ended up in jail because something they actually did. They still ended up, putting themselves in a situation that made them lose their life. So for people to say, I got a whooping, I used to get whoopings all the time and it saved my life. No, you just didn't die. You just ended up in jail. But I know so many people that got the same whoopings you did, they did. I know some people that don't get whoopings at all, never got a whooping, and ended up doing something stupid that cost their lives, or ended up going to jail, or just a individual that just does stupid things to people, It's the same thing on both ends, but you only see what you see on your side of the fence, right? So before you were a parent, you were never a parent. You could have been a sibling. You could have helped raise your younger siblings. You could have been around other people's kids all the time. But before you were a parent, you were not a parent. So you don't really know how to parent. And even 5, 10, 15 years in, You still have the time to know what you're doing, because when you feel like you have half a hold on something, then your child changes. They grow a little bit. And you're like, God dang it. You went from toddler to being a kid, to being a preteen, to being an adolescent, to being a young adult. And just, God dang it. Like, you change every time I think I have a hold on something, right? Parenting is constant learning. Just like being a child. You have to consistently learn. You have to be willing and ready to change. You have to be willing and ready to teach. You have to be patient with your children. You have to be patient with yourselves and figure out how to communicate with your child. Because you can have 3 children and all 3 of your children learn in different ways. All 3 of your children need different examples. They need different applications to life. You know, if you choose to have multiple children, you better be ready to switch it up and take your hat off and put it back on, different hats 15,000 times a day for the children, because they're different. Teach your children, right? Teach them. And people are going to have their opinions. They're going to have their opinions about what I said. Come for me. I'm ready. Okay? I'm ready. So, yeah, I would, you know what I want you to do? If you got to the end of this video, and if my comments are open, because I know baby's face is, you know, come through in a couple times, and YouTube, get it together, because she's always around me, okay? If the comments are open, what I want you to do is I want you to comment, and as you are the parent, I want you to comment like, I'm an 8-year-old little girl, right? And I want you to explain to me, hold that thought, loud truck. I want you to explain to me why, when you whoop me, it's okay, because you love me. I want you to explain to me, as if I were an 8-year-old, how you would explain you whooping me being okay, but then come back when I'm 25. I want you to explain the difference. Why it's wrong for my boyfriend to whip me or to hit me because he loves me, but it was okay for you to do the same thing, to teach me because you love me. I want you to put it in the words that you would explain it to your child in, because they're confused. Subconsciously, they may not even realize that you gave them 2 completely different lessons in life, but they're confused. It's confusing. Explain it to me. I would love to read how you would put that into words. All right. I didn't have an intro. I just wanted to jump into it, and it was still long. So that's it. If I pissed you off, you're welcome, because now you're thinking. And if you agree with me, thank you, and you're welcome. You know, but I love a debate. So if you don't agree, please talk to me about it. All right. Subscribe, like, comment, share to piss somebody else off.